Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Ever since 2015, I've been hearing the standard joke. Where are my flying cars? Why do I not have a flying car? It was predicted in the movie Back to the Future. It was predicted here, predicted that. And I personally think it's one of the most ridiculous things ever. Humanity can barely handle two dimensions, left and right. How could we possibly entrust them with three dimensions? Also, while I've never been a pilot personally, I did used to have a remote controlled airplane. And I'll be honest, I was not very good at flying it. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. So can you imagine putting that power of a third dimension to people that can't even contemplate it? Scientists make the joke about flatland, but that's about what we're living in the present. Flatland. You go forward, back, x, y coordinates. Adding z in is just not going to happen. Problem number one. The best way to take care of this would be to have fully automated cars. And that's a legislative problem. Let's put aside all the weird things that happen whenever they try to truly make a self-driving car, and tomorrow magically the technology exists. Okay, that's a fantastic thing. We all want that to happen because while driving is fun, 16-year-olds getting their license are going to find it fun to do stuff. Most of us just want to get to work, get to wherever it is we're going, and get it over with. So theoretically, it's perfectly possible for us to say, hey, let's program these things up to GPS, Google Maps, whatever it is that you're choosing to connect to, and use that as your guidance system. Let the car completely run itself. Well, the problem there is sometimes things happen to GPS and Google Maps. Not GPS, I can't say that. But Google Maps, hey, once in a while I ask it for an address across the street and it puts me in Cleveland, Ohio. Not that Cleveland, Ohio is a bad place necessarily, it's just not where I want to be or where I want to go. Since people are stunningly unaware of their own cities, they're not going to realize, hey, I'm going the wrong way. Cute little story from Silverlight's past. I once visited a friend next town over, basically. And while Silverlight did not partake of the many offerings that were illegal then and are legal now, the fact is, when I got out of the property, I got myself turned around and accidentally wound up turning left instead of turning right. Or who knows? And I'm driving along in a state of semi-consciousness, shall we'll say. It wasn't bad, but at the same token, I knew something was wrong. I came across a sign and it said, this place is back that way, however many kilometers. That shouldn't be right. Well, I'll go just a little bit further. Now that's more kilometers away. Nope, I better turn around and pray I can find something that I know about. Eventually, I did get home. But like I said, if your address picks up on Cleveland, Ohio, I would hope you'd realize sooner or later that going through a border point is not the best plan of action for you. But that might be what you're doing. Thirdly, again, three dimensions. You're on the 22nd floor of an apartment building. Normally, you don't have too much to fear from an automobile, even if it crashes into you. There's enough fences and curves and stuff like that between you and them so that you don't need to worry up there. If we go to three dimensions, yeah, a car can park right outside of your window, rev its engine, and make your day a living hell. That's not ideal, but it's not even the worst thing that can happen. So, as I said earlier, you need some sort of actual artificial intelligence that's reliable to guide these machines. How hard is it for you or the average person to go out and pick up one of those boxes that gives you access to every single channel? It ain't. Hackers are not these people surrounded by technology where they take something off one screen with their hand and put it on another screen. No, hacking is very boring. I come from the old ASCII machine language days, and it's a long time before you can get the computer to do anything outside of its programming. But you make it back by selling cracked copies, by selling things that you've already broken into, and you make your money that way. Or you distribute it for free, because that was the attitude back then. Now everything is money, money, money. But that's the way things were. So the second somebody figures out how to override, a Tesla or whatever is using this artificial guidance to guide itself in three planes, it's going to happen. Remember Volvo? They figured out when the exhaust probe was taking its measurements and it sent back fake numbers in return. So Volvos were passing the emissions test left, right, and center. Not because they were better cars, but because Volvo literally built into their system a way to crack it. And that's the way a lot of systems are. They have overrides in the system. They realize we need a way to say for the police. The police finds a stolen car. The policeman is going to need some sort of override to say, nope, you're not here, you're coming with me. So there is a legitimate reason for it, but people are really smart. As much as artificial intelligence is being lauded as the next great step, the fact is, people are always ahead of it. If you don't believe me, look what Bodie McBoatface is. And that was not the original name it was going to be given. So, while I believe the technical challenges of driving in 3 dimensions with a flying car are absolutely possible to be resolved, and even the legislation I can imagine is going to be overruled where it exists. Because what the legislation says in a lot of cases is something to the effect of the driver must be in control at all times. So hence, you can't go to a bar, get yourself ridiculously drunk and say, Siri, take me home. You can, but like I said, the problem is it's going to be difficult if the police pull your automated car over and you're in the back doing shots with your friends. So technically possible, legislatively definitely possible, and probably something that needs to be addressed anyway. But the most important thing is how to make them hack proof. Because, like I said, once one person figures it out, they're going to be able to sell that information. Heck, even now, Windows has a problem, with their product keys. You buy Windows, whatever the hell we're on at the present time, I think it's 11, and they give you a product code that you have to enter. So click, 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 you enter it, then it's permanently locked into that computer keyboard, or computer system. That is hacked pretty much the first day it comes out. I don't buy illegal software like that, but I'm aware of where I can get it. I'm aware of people that used to say, haha, I don't need to buy the license. And this has been a big struggle for Windows for decades. I imagine for Apple Macintosh as well, but I'm not as familiar with Apple Macintosh systems. I'm remaining purposely ignorant because I just don't like working on them. It doesn't work the way that I want it to. Not saying that they're not good computers, and if that's your preference, that's fantastic. It's like if you like a Toyota, I'm not going to argue. That's your choice in cars. 3D flying cars. You look at these science fiction series, like, what is it I'm thinking of at the moment? The Fifth Element. And they have lanes and lanes and lanes going ad infinitum into the sky. Maybe if you would make a central grid responsible for everything, you can do that. But even in that film, they show one guy, Corbin Dallas, Bruce Willis, overriding his computer control and pointing it straight down so he can get away from cops. You know what? We're not going to magically stop going to want to get away from cops. And while you might not be trying to do that, and I might not be trying to do that, there's going to be some genius out there that figures out the override. This came to mind because our little family is looking at modifying our insurance plan. And one of them had, do you want to have an app that monitors, how fast you're going, how fast you're driving, etc., etc., etc. I'm not a speed demon in a car. Quite the opposite. I'm usually pretty slow, unless it's an area I know so well that I can kick it up a little into overdrive. But most of the time, you're going to find that I'm a very gentle braker. I'm a very gentle accelerator. And yeah, my wife, she hasn't really discovered that thrill of driving yet. So for right now, it's okay. But what about when that same app is hooked in to a computer? The computer says, oh yeah, I'm accelerating at 5 kilometers an hour when it's really doing 20 kilometers an hour. And we've seen that before, and we'll see it again. Just something to think of when somebody is complaining about not having their flying car yet. Because what an absolute cluster, you know what, if that day ever comes. With that, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, share, because sharing is caring. Don't forget to click the bell icon down in the comments so that way you can be notified every single time that we upload a new episode. And we hope you have a fantastic day.